Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I just wanted to go ahead and give everybody a quick kind of refresher on getting started with our in-house mod ReMoDdeD. Now some of you may have played it before, it's been a while though and you just kind of want to see some of the new changes. Some of you may be new to it entirely and getting a bit overwhelmed at all the info and stuff you're seeing, so I just thought this would be an updated way to again give you a little helping hand, show you some of the thought processes and give you a little bit of behind the scenes on it. So with all that said, as usual, if you guys are liking this kind of content, make sure you like and subscribe, helps everybody out, and definitely be sure to check out the video description for links to our Patreon, Discord, and some of the tools that we'll be using today. And with that out of the way, let's jump right into it. So the first step I'd recommend is downloading the community launcher. You can do that at d2rmodding.com. And once you're at the home page, you can click the D2R launch section here. So a quick reminder, we have two different versions of the launcher. We got D2R Launch, which is based on the most recent versions of Diablo 2 Resurrected, but it is restricted to single player only and doesn't have as many kind of custom options available. And then we have D2R LAN, which is for both single player and multiplayer using TCP IP, and that has a bit more freedom in things that you can do, such as loot filters, infinite item storage, that kind of thing. So for the majority of people, I'm going to recommend everybody use D2R LAN. Again, you're just going to get kind of more options overall, especially some of the big ones that a lot of players usually care about. So anyways, just go ahead and click that button and let it download. And then once you've done that, you can go ahead and follow the install guide that's also listed in that video there on the page, and that will help you get it set up. When you first open that program, you're going to see something just like this. It should all be kind of blank here, nothing's really filled in. You're likely going to see an update in the bottom left corner. I recommend going ahead and updating the actual launcher with that. And then once you're done that, you can head to the download new mod section, and the first thing you're going to need to do if you're playing D2R LAN specifically is set up all the base files needed for this special version of the game. And to do that, the only option that should be available to you is this one, and you're simply going to hit the install mod button. Now this is downloading the entire game files, so this process can and likely will take a while depending on your internet speed. So for that reason, I'm just going to skip it in this video, but understand all you're doing is clicking install mod, waiting for both parts to finish, and then you should get a pop-up message saying everything is complete. When that happens, your launcher will then look something like this. You will have the base TCP mod installed, and from there, if you click download new mod, you'll be able to select some of the mods that have been added to the database, enter a zip link or something for one that's not in the database for whatever reason, etc., and you can download your mod that way. So for most of you, at least for this video, we're going to be again talking about ReMoDdeD, so you can just head to RMD-MP, that stands for ReMoDdeD Multiplayer, and you can go ahead and select the install option there. Now, as you can see, I've kind of already done that here. And so with the mod selected, you should see our mod logo, our kind of new news messages, things like that. And that's how you know that you're kind of all set up with this mod. We will jump right into the game here in a second, but we're going to kind of hop back and forth between the game and the launcher because there's a lot of additional controls and things like that you can enable through it to enhance your gameplay experience, and I just want to make sure that you kind of understand how you can best take advantage of all that. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and click play mod for now. Just again, keep that in mind. We'll kind of be hopping back and forth a little bit. You're going to see a little loaded message. D2R HUD is kind of our custom backend process that allows a lot of our expanded features that wouldn't normally be possible. So those who are familiar with code editing, hard code edits, that kind of thing, that's what that enables there. So when you first get into the mod, you're going to see right away that a lot of the UI and stuff has been changed, gone for a more modern, dark look for for it, including corpses hanging on trees on the main menu and stuff. Really trying to bring out that kind of classic dark Diablo atmosphere. You'll also see we have quick access to things like mod info that you can scroll down with different drop downs and stuff on some of the changes, as well as all the tabs and stuff where you can browse some of the new monsters, some of the new levels, and some additional guide info. Keep in mind we are still in beta, so a lot of this is potentially outdated, and we'll do our best to keep updating things over time. But you'll see there's a lot of different areas to grab information from, and so yeah, this will kind of make sense later on. Away from that, if you would like to see some of the people who have helped make this mod possible, or if you'd like to kind of get recognized in the Hall of Fame, things like that, we do have a mod credits option here. And again, this will kind of help show you some of the people who are responsible for helping contribute to this project, as well as just giving honorifics to the people who have helped support us and things like that in the past. I'm going to be rude, and I'm not going to let that finish for your own time's sake, but just know that we definitely appreciate everybody who helps contribute, and we make sure that that is well known in the game and in the community. So that being said, let's go ahead, let's create a new character, and I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the things that you'll see or notice starting off that you'll just like to know for help. So the first things first is you'll kind of notice we have a, again, very different UI theme. This is to open up things a lot more, especially as we've included advanced stats now as a kind of inline scrollable list. So you no longer have panels taking up your entire screen. And again, just gives you a little more open access so you can still do things while still having, easy access to view things, trade with other people, see monsters that came out of the bush just to start attacking you, etc. Beyond that, you'll see some new items in your inventory that might confuse you. The first one is our Statue of Mythos Kill Tracker, or Soul Tracker. This is a kind of dynamic item that basically everybody will just leave on their character, and it's used to do a few things. One, as you can probably tell, it will track your kills and deaths over time. So, as you might imagine, the longer you play your character, the more kills, and hopefully not, but likely so, deaths that you will accumulate. These can be kind of used for different restrictions, gatekeeping for events or special recipes, all sorts of things like that. They will also impact, as you might be reading along as I'm yammering, they will also impact certain stats. So they will affect how much all skills you get for weight and things like that. Speaking of weight, you can also see it. We have a new stat, increased charm max weight. So there is a charm weighting system in this mod, meaning because we have such an expanded storage, in order to prevent, at least at default, from all players just using that entire space for charms, there's a weighting system so that each charm now takes up a certain amount of weight, depending on mostly on how many slots that uses. But instead of it just being a static system that just kind of restricts everybody to 40 and calls it a day, there are items that will allow you to increase your max weight. It will also increase automatically as you do things like invest in strength points, because more base strength allows you, more carrying capacity, just like in your kind of older school, RPG type games. So all that is incorporated into this. So that is to say that if at the end of the day you do want your entire inventory filled with charms, you are able to do that. You'll just have to spec for it on your items by looking for that increased charm weight stat, or by again investing in base strength, things like that. So don't be confused by that. This will kind of upgrade with you over time, and you'll learn more about this tracker. But again, it's just there to track things for you, as well as provide bonuses based on those effects. Another item you're going to notice is our storage bag. So a lot of people have come to love this feature. This is kind of like taking stacked runes and gems to the next level, and then also incorporating a lot of other items and features into this to really turn it into its own unique aspect. So with this, again, if you've been kind of reading the tooltip as I've been yammering, this will let you deposit things like runes, gems, keys, organs, rare jewels, full rejuves. You can even kind of extract set and unique cores from set and unique items that you kind of don't want anymore, and then later use those cores to generate to craft new sets and uniques from them. So essentially like a recycling type system for that. So it has a lot of capabilities, and to use them, so let's say we've deposited a rune in our bag, you can simply head to our new NPC Eddie, and you will see in the miscellaneous section some different removers from him. So again, let's say we wanted to looks like I need some money here. I'm a bit broke. So that's one of the other benefits. As you can see, we do have a kind of dev command system that is possible to unlock with the correct Easter egg input. Anyways, with that out of the way, as you can see here about an L remover, and if I put this in with my bag and we assume I had points, I probably should have made a character that already had some points and stuff on it. But anyways, let's assume that you deposited some runes in there and you had some points. I'll try to show that on another character here in a minute. You would put your L remover in with the bag, hit transmute, and an L rune would pop out along with it. If you wanted a different rune, you can just cube that remover alone, and as you can see, it will kind of cycle through, and you can go ahead and change that with that. Now, speaking of transmute, as it's a quality of life feature for a lot of you, I'm going to quickly jump ship to the launcher again, just to show you that we have some additional controls to help you out with some of this stuff. So if you go to the options section and then go to the hotkeys panel, you'll be able to see that you can set a whole bunch of custom hotkeys for different things that you might want to do. So for example, for the transmute action, we can set a hotkey so that you can just press the hotkey instead of manually clicking either of the transmute buttons, depending on where the items get generated. You could always use a hotkey for that stuff. And then as you probably saw, that will apply to other things also. If you want to identify all items with a hotkey or reset only stats or skills, etc., you can do all that kind of stuff here, as well as some new options that you probably might not understand quite yet that we'll get into later in the video. But quick side tangent away, let's head back to the game. This is how you can, again, withdraw and deposit things like gems, runes, organs, all that stuff, and then use these removers cycling through as you need to pull out whatever you'd like. And then what a lot of players do is they will kind of just stock up on removers. Instead of needing to cycle them, they might go to one of their many share tabs. As you can see, we also include 64 pages of shared storage, so you have tons and tons of storage for basically all the grail hunting and stuff you could possibly need. But they will just simply keep a copy of each of the different rune remover types, in their inventory, and then they can, in their stash I should say, and then just grab what's needed as they're using it. So obviously do it as you like. You can keep one and you can cycle them, you can generate all of them and keep a copy, etc. But it's just one way to store lots of items in this bag and then use it as needed. So moving on from that, let's go ahead and just talk about the last item in the inventory here, which is going to be your cube of endless convenience. Pretty simple. We're just going to simply put that in the cube alone, like it says to, and then we're going to hit the transmute button and we're going to get some special items. So as I'm hovering over this, you can see that these are tombs that auto regenerate. So you will never need to kind of buy scrolls and stuff like that again. they don't drop because, again, theoretically, you never need to worry about this stuff again, as all this is auto-replenishing, including the keys. So this is just a quality of life thing, as we kind of wanted players to be able to focus more on gameplay and less of the minutia of managing their inventory and stuff like that. So take it as you will, but again, yeah, just thought it's a good quality of life boon for a lot of you. So that will be the basics of just kind of the generic inventory and stuff. There will be a lot of other things that you'll start to expand upon as you learn the mod. So for example, you probably noticed all these enhanced crystals. These are a pretty straightforward system. You can use these enhanced crystals on basically any magic or higher quality item, and it will add the stat it tells you. For example, this one gives you +1 block chance or +2 cold resist, etc. But it will also add it will increase the level required to use that item. So you can use this as a kind of built-in limiting method to boost your items, but obviously if you boost them too much, then they will exceed your own level, and you will not be able to wear it anymore. So that's how it kind of self-balances in that regard. And then as far as that 4 blacksmith note, that will lead us kind of right into our next topic, which is our skill tree, our difference of skills, things like that. So we have right now 3 different paths you can choose. So what that 4 blacksmith means is when I go ahead and head to our skill tree, you can see that the first thing you might notice is that we no longer have prerequisites on our skills. Therefore, all the arrows and stuff have been removed to clear up any confusion. You can choose any skill you want as long as you meet the required level and stuff. You no longer have to invest in other skills to unlock previous ones and things like that. What you'll also notice is that we have a respec option for your character built right in here. So anytime you can just click this button to reset both your stats and your skills, and that's just a convenient way to do that. And then as far as the blacksmith thing, you can see there's 10 skills, at least currently as of this patch, for all the classes in each tab. And then there is a limit break skill that is available in all these tabs as well. Limit breaking is a special feature that unlocks at various levels. Honestly, I would kind of check out the wiki for more info, and the quick way to access to the wiki is once more in the launcher. If we go to the community section, we can just click the wiki link here, and it should take us right to it, and you can feel free to browse here, use the search option to search limit breaking, things like that, and learn all about the system, how it works, how it interacts with your Mythos log and all that fun stuff. Again, we have video guides and all that. We try to do our best to make it easy and understandable. But essentially how it works is, in order to exceed level 99, you have to go through your first limit break. That unlocks a new path, in this case Path of the Cleric, and you can start investing in this tree to unlock some additional benefits. As you keep progressing up that ladder, you'll hit your next limit break kind of level at level 109, and at this point you can enter limit break 2 and unlock Path of the Blacksmith if you'd like. And as you might imagine, there is a third limit break at level 119, which will unlock the true max level cap in the mod of level 125 once you have completed this limit break, and this is the Path of the Conqueror. Now these limit breaks will expand over time, but just generally speaking, they're very unique aspects that can interact with many different aspects of the gameplay, such as if you had invested in Path of the Blacksmith, and as you can see at level 20 of the skill, enhancement crystals effectiveness and requirements have been altered. Essentially, you get more benefits from these enhanced crystals. You can start stacking them. They have some cheaper level requirements, etc. But that's only available if you've chosen the path of the blacksmith. If you chose path of the cleric or path of the conqueror instead, then obviously you will not have this option. And again, this is just going to help, especially since we do support multiplayer, which we'll show off later. This will help incentivize people to try out not only different builds, but different paths. You may be looking for a friend that's a blacksmith or a friend that's a cleric, etc., so that they can improve your gameplay experience in the party. Going back to the skill trees, you might have noticed this kind of animated icon here. This is our preview animations panel. One of the new capabilities of the D2R kind of interface and engine is that we can do kind of fancier stuff like this. So as with everything else, because this mod's in beta, don't expect that everything's perfectly updated and accurate, but it's, for the most part, should be reliable and everything should be there. But it will let you browse all the class skills, kind of get a preview of what to expect before you go through the effort of putting all the points in and investing in it, only to find out it's kind of not what you thought it was or whatever. So you can, again, browse through the classes, see some of the different things they can do, see that a mixture of classic or retail, skills that you're familiar with, as well as brand new skills have been kind of added into the mix to help give you kind of a blend of both worlds. Some will have more customizations than others, just depending on how unique they were already. And then our last tab is kind of our open skills tab. So a big focus on this mod is that, well, of course we want all the class skills to be unique and you to have your own experiences there. There's also a lot of skills that can only be found on items. And these are meant as both, hunts for endgame and things like that, as well as to allow you to expand upon what you thought your build was going to be as you discover, new things. So just an easy example that I can make with that is you might start out as a kind of normal Hydra-based sorceress until you find an item that grants you the Tri-Hydra skill, and now you can summon Hydras with all 3 elements. So as you might imagine, that might change how you want to focus on things to test out this version of the build, where you're a little more element agnostic and can take advantage of that with different bosses and things like that. So we like supporting that, so definitely be expected to hunt for special rune words, uniques, special crafting options, things like that, that will unlock skills only available on items. So that's the basic info of it, of just not being overwhelmed by the things you first see in the mod. The kind of last thing I'll run into as far as the getting started portion goes is showing you how you can change things as well as access a lot of the info over time that you'll be wanting to know. So for example, in our cube, we have 2 new buttons I haven't touched on yet. The first one is going to be the Show Cube Recipes button. As that might imply, this is going to be where you can find a lot of the recipes we have in the mod, a lot of the custom ones that have been added for like your storage bag, for essences, blood contracts, which we haven't even talked about, but again will be discussed on our wiki and things like that. It will again just allow you to browse all the different crafting options and things like that in the game, as well as an active list of rune words that you can hover over to see how all those flesh out and again plan out your builds, things like that. A big focus on this is you'll notice there's a lot of low-level rune words that are now kind of enabled, things such as daylight and stuff like that, that can be a big help in the early game, as we do have some increased threats and stuff that you'll need to focus on for this mod, as defensive stats and abilities are just plain more important. I wouldn't worry too much yet about Forsaken packs and limit breaks and stuff like that. This is going to become more important in the end game process of things as you learn the mod more. But just know there's essentially like a set fusion system and stuff as far as Forsaken packs go. So you can take completed sets, such as if you were to complete the Berserker set and the Cow King set, turn them into tokens essentially, into contracts, then you can fuse them into the Ardio's Calling set. And that will have its own benefits. And as you can see, this was first discovered by June PF. So these are also, when first released, every couple updates we release a couple brand new ones. They are undiscovered, and the community must find out the combinations, and then when they do and report them, they will get honored in the mod for the rest of time for their contributions to the community. So there's a lot of things like that. Again, don't let yourself get overwhelmed. You'll constantly find stuff like that. Just take it one step at a time. Ask around in our Discord, etc., and it'll kind of all start coming together for you. So other than the recipes, the other button we have is going to be our Horadric Rift. This is kind of like a specialty shop in that different recipes, mini events, exclusive items or rewards, that kind of stuff is offered through this, and it rotates every major patch. So especially once 1.0 comes out, you can basically expect this as a monthly rotation. And so again, the things it offers or the things that you might need to focus on will kind of constantly refresh. So right now there's a special mini event going on. We got some discounted rates on some of the kind of recycling mechanics that we use in the game. There's increased drop rates for one of the collectible charm groups, and we brought back some gift boxes from an older event that pays homage to things like 1.08 items, bugged items, etc., that were popular in kind of the BattleNet old days of Blizzard. Again, just as honorific type stuff because we're fans of Diablo 2. So that will explain that. And again, I don't want to overwhelm you. This video could go on for 3 hours if I talked about every little thing that's been changed in the mod. You'll find that there's a lot. And to demonstrate that, I'm just going to run out to town real quick and give you one base example. I will be nice though, however, and do it in the daytime so you can at least see it a little better, because it will be a surprise for many of you when you first experience it. So real quick, this is just a training totem. You can whack on it to test your damage and stuff. Just a thing that, thought people would like. Anyways, you will notice we have, for example, new monsters like this Quill Mother. They do not attack, so you don't have to worry about that. As you can see, if they run up to me and I kind of just let them, then they will just give me a hug. They are mothers. They're not here to fight. What they do, however, is spawn. So they will keep spawning their quill rats until you take care of them. In greater difficulties, they'll have more that they're allowed to spawn at once. But they do have a limit, so they won't overrun the map or anything like that. But you will notice things like this just immediately as you walk out of town. Density, especially with, these spawn creatures and stuff, as you can see, it can get out of hand quickly if you don't target these down and stuff like that. So, again, taking advantage of low-level rune words, enhanced crystals, caring about defensive stats like flat damage reduction, blinding enemies, all that kind of stuff is just plain more important in this mod because there are threats like that to consider. Another big one you'll run into early on in the game is shamans. Any kind of leader type monster is going to be more of a threat now as well. Again, because they're leaders, they've kind of been given that status in terms of their skills and stats as well. So shamans, for example, can shoot multiple fireballs now, which means they can shotgun you. You might need to actually focus on their timing and do a little bit of dodging. You might need to, again, blind them so they can't see far enough to shoot them at you, things like that, because we don't want it to just be a click through everything and bigger stat equals win. There is a modicum of strategy involved and getting things through, but I don't want you to think this turns it into a white knuckle experience. It just means that you need to care a little bit more about defensive stuff than you normally would have. And then kind of migrating again away from the actual gameplay, because you're going to find dozens if not hundreds of things that have changed over the time. I want to show you how you can take advantage of a lot of this using the launcher to help control things more how you'd like, get the info you need, etc. So let's switch gears a little bit to that, and I just want to go over some of the options that again I think you'd like to have on your side. So we'll start here with the quality of life options. One of the big ones that everybody will care about is the auto backup and restore option. So this game is not perfect, even from the Blizzard as default. It will crash, or even if your game never ever crashes, you may experience a power outage, Windows may go crazy on you and blue screen for no reason, etc. So there may be a time when an item gets poofed, your character gets corrupted, etc., because of one of these incidences. So it's important that you know that the game does automatically back up for you, and you can change the settings unless you obviously specifically want it disabled. So you can always click the button manually if you want to force it, but it does create backups for you. And then obviously, if needed, you can hit this restore button option. You can select the character you're trying to restore, and then it should open up all the backups it's made for you, and as you can see here, it will have all the timestamps and date and stuff of when that backup was made, so that you can make sure you're selecting the one you want, and then you can go ahead and restore that character, and you'll get a message just like that letting you know that it was restored. Just one quick note on that. In some cases, if you've been talking in chat for a bit or whatever, or your item it was in your stash and it actually got deleted an hour ago and you just didn't notice, you may have to restore an older version than the very most recent one in those cases, just because again it might have disappeared before you thought it did. And then second note on that is the stash option does let you do your shared stash. So if you only need to do your shared stash, or you're trying to do both that and your character, that's how you can select it there. Another option that I think everybody should know about is the display mode. So you can click the little preview buttons anytime you see this little play/preview button. It just gives you a chance to see what this change actually does. But essentially, this advanced display will add the ability for the real-time resistance measurements here. So especially in this mod, I strongly recommend it because you will care about it for bosses and things like that to know exactly how much minus resistance, minus immunity percent, stuff like that you're going to need to break that monster's immunity and things like that. So I personally recommend the advanced option, either of the advanced options. The only difference between the advanced is if it shows the percents on the bar, like the 10, 20, 30, 40, etc., or not. So again, just a preference there, but I strongly recommend that. Other than that, a lot of this is just personal preference, whether you like helmets or not, whether you like seeing item levels on items or not, all that kind of stuff. Just feel free to toggle as you'd like. The only other things I'd like to point out is Beacon. Beacon is our advertising service for TCP hosted games. So I will show that near the end of the video here. But that will allow you to browse other people's games and easily join them, as well as advertise your own. Obviously, if you only ever play single player, then you don't need to worry about that, and you can set that to disabled. But for many of you, you know, who sometimes play with Discord people or whatever, you may want to start it minimized or something like that. And then finally, this section down here for this mod is enabled. You might not find this section enabled when you're playing other mods, but for ours, you can change the rune word sorting type. So that menu you saw here in game, obviously right now it's sorted by item type currently, but if you're a new player, you might find that sorting by required level, or even sorting alphabetically is a bit easier for you to find kind of what you're looking for. So you can change those sorting options in the launcher. You just have to restart the game for those changes to take effect. And then another thing I'll show is the HUD design, as a lot of people like this. But essentially there's different designs that you can search through. And a lot of people, I'm going to select merged mini for this. And then let's also select by required level. And I'm going to restart the game so you can see kind of these changes take effect real quick. But once we've selected them, nothing to it. We're just going to kind of hop back, hit the play option, and we should see those changes be applied. And so there you go. You can see here's our merged mini option. Again, cleans things up, kind of merges your health and mana orbs into one, gives you a lot more screen space. If you don't like it, then you don't have to use it. That's what we have the options for. But it just gives some variety to players who kind of want that. And then again, once more with our menu, our rune words and stuff, now you can see it's sorted by required level instead. So you get all your early level rune words here, and then you can scroll down as you get stronger and unlock more rune words. So again, if you prefer sorting it like this, then you have that option too. So again, just know that those options exist in the launcher. Another big option for you guys is going to be a loot filter. So obviously this has been something that players have been asking for years from Blizzard. Hasn't come yet. We'll keep our fingers crossed, but as you know, the modding community always has everybody's back for that stuff, and we're no different. So you can select a loot filter, and depending on your mod, there will be many different filters you can choose from, including using no filter at all. If you just don't want one, that's not your thing, you can do that. If, however, you would like to use a filter, simply selecting it will most of the authors will have included all the different kind of rules or what it focuses on. Again, depending on the author, they will include more or less detail in the kind of preview window on what's changed for them. And if it's a filter you'd like to try. For example, this one is focused on cow farming and kind of just as a generalized filter. This one's a little more verbose in everything it's kind of handling for you as far as displaying items and things like that. It will also allow you to display notifications of things. So if a unique drops or some high rune drops, you can get a chat message letting you know. And again, this is all stuff that's controlled through the filter. So select that as you'd like. Simply hit the apply button, and that filter will be applied. Now, if you remember earlier from the video, depending on the hotkey you set, so right now I have Control and F12. I did that mostly for testing. I'm not actually that insane. Will allow you to reload the game or reload your text files if you're a modder, or reload your filter if you're trying to do that. So if I push Control F12 in game right now, you'll see I got a little message that the base filter has been updated. And so if you're making live changes or if you're trying to test things, you can know that now that filter has been activated. Let's see if I have any items that might match that filter. There we go. a legend appears as Y-hander. So again, because that item dropped, it added an orange border around it to let it stand out a little more, and then also gave me a chat notification message that it appeared. Again, depending on the filter, they can use that how they want, and you can adjust that how you want to really customize what's shown, what's hidden, all that stuff, hide all the junk, but make sure you see everything you want. All that is controlled via the loot filter. And we have some various other things, like you can change chat colors and stuff for your in-game chat with players, sorry. And yeah, so that's another big feature there. Again, especially when combined with the expanded storage I showed off earlier, you'll truly have a lot more customizability over what you can farm for without pulling all your hair out, creating 80 mules and hunting through, tons of junk text on the screen and stuff like that. You can really tailor it down to what you care about. Since I've mentioned it a few times, let me just quickly show it off. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do a quick TCP game just to show you the process of how you can join others and things like that. So with TCP selected, I'm going to go ahead and select host game, and then let's go ahead and I'm going to start a new multi-box, just to join myself essentially, since I don't have friends on demand like that. And we're going to go ahead and just select a character, and I will join myself. So let's go ahead and select join, enter in, obviously my own kind of IP address there. And now, as you can see, here's our game, and just like with everything, you can trade and you can party up and things like that, and everything will be copacetic there. But I wanted to quickly show Beacon, just to show again what I was talking about earlier. You can also launch it manually just by selecting the option down there. And what that'll do was it basically, got to give it a second, it doesn't work in straight real time, but it will... there we go. Not sure why it's double posting. Maybe because I'm technically in two games and stuff at once and I'm confusing it. But anyways, it will allow you to see all the kind of games that are active right now, at least for people who are using Beacon. And then it will add them to the list, and simply selecting their IP address would allow you to join them. So a lot of these people are using Radmin, which is kind of our VLAN service that we recommend in our video guide. So again, if you haven't checked out the video from that, I'd recommend it. But assuming you're not launching two different instances like I am right now, which is kind of freaking out the Beacon thing. Guess I should account for that a little better. You won't see all the double listings and stuff like that for everything. I think it's just pulling it twice because I'm in two characters and stuff. Anyways, but as you can see, it will allow you to see what player accounts they're using in game, how many players are in the game, a lot like you're browsing a ghetto BattleNet lobby. You can see what mod they're playing, etc. And you can find someone you want to join. Again, it'll even tell you kind of their ping and stuff, so you know if it's going to be a good connection or not. And you can go ahead and join them just as easily as copying their IP. So as you can see, IP copied to clipboard. We'll go ahead and try it. I don't know if their game is actually open for public, depending on their settings, but there we go. Let's go and join. And there we go. We can just let them know. Again, this is a lot like you're just playing on online through TCP, so you can chat and you can join your buddies, whether it's a real life buddy or Discord friend or whatever. It should be relatively simple. And looks like they're Den of Evil. They might even be AFK or brand new, so we'll let them be. Hopefully they're not too freaked out by some random joining and screaming at them, but there you go. That has been hopefully a somewhat long-winded but a quicker breakdown on how you can get started with this mod, how you can take advantage of, again, things like quick access to our Discord or Wiki to learn info about things. Just as a final reminder, we are still in beta, so be a little patient with us if all the info isn't fleshed out or whatever, but if you stick around at all, you'll see we're very active with things like our change logs, our bug reports, history, and stuff. We really try to keep improving on that. It just takes a lot of time for such a expansive system, including the mod and all of its capabilities. But with that said, I hope you've enjoyed kind of just a preview of what you can expect with this, frankly, kind of large experience for you. And I hope you'll hit us up on Discord if you have any questions or concerns. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Hope you enjoy the mod. Take care. Bye.